Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is find reasons to be grateful. Well, the reason you want to be grateful is that an attitude of gratitude is going to make you happier. People who aren't that grateful or don't seem to have a lot of gratitude are always going to be grumpier. They're going to feel more in despair. They're not going to be as happy in general as people who are always looking for reasons to be grateful and have an attitude more on the gratitude side. I just find the more I can be grateful, the more happier I get, and it helps if you look back on your life of where you've come from and use your memory, use your journal book, use your spreadsheets to keep track of how far you've come, and that maybe one time something was really wrong in your life and you've overcome that, and now that big issue is behind you. I talk at length about being married and getting out of that marriage and how much that had helped my happiness, various moves in the job, various taking care of various issues. It makes me grateful that I've gotten these things behind me. So I wanted to give a little story from what happened to me earlier today. I was in a meeting at work, and somebody walked in and said something along the lines of, "Oh, the world has just ended." Or it was more like, "The world is falling apart." And my first thought is, what did the United States suffer another terrorist attack? Or is the organization that we're working for, are they going to lay us all off? Or did you or your family member have a real serious health issue? Well, it was none of those. To me, yeah, that would be world shaking, shattering events, but none of that was what the problem was to this person. It was, somebody pressed them, "What's the problem?" And they said, "Well, it's got a quote on my furnace. It either has to be repaired or replaced, and the replacement is a massive cost, but I'm not sure if they're not sure if the repair will be good enough, so you might have to do the repair and then have to replace it anyway. And I got an issue with my car, it's in the shop." I'm thinking, that is pretty small potatoes in the world is over realm, right? Everybody who has a home, a house, anybody who has a vehicle knows that these are massively expensive things to own, and they're always breaking down and needing repairs and massive amounts of money to keep them going. This isn't anything new, right? Furnaces need to be repaired and replaced. Cars need to be repaired and maintained and replaced, right? And just because you don't want that particular thing to happen now doesn't mean that it is going to agree with you, right? So it's just money, right? It's just money, and yeah, certainly you may not have the money to do what needs to be done, but is this anything new either? People have been strapped for cash, strapped for credit in countless times. This isn't a world ending event, right? People don't have the money to do lots of things. They don't have the money to repair their furnaces in the winter or repair their cars that they need to get to work. This is not anything new, right? And it is not, but it is not a reason to not look for gratitude. Okay, even though, yeah, that these events may totally spoil your plans, but that's, you have to be adaptable and flexible and know that this kind of stuff, learn that this kind of stuff happens. And going on, in general, so the person was, real depressed and kind of in despair about this situation that they found themselves in. And the rest of us, we tried to cheer the person up. I joked around and said, well, now you're not going to be able to shower yourself in Christmas gifts this year. You'll have to go without. And somebody else pointed out, well, you did get a big raise, right? It was well known that that person and a bunch of us others got a big raise, and myself included, and so that raise, while it won't cover all the costs that that the person is talking about, over time it will certainly help, right? That, to me, be grateful for that huge raise that we received, but know that just because we get a raise doesn't mean you're going to be automatically rich. That's going to help to keep up with these other rising costs elsewhere. So, to me, be grateful that you have good work and you can figure out a way to pay for these massive bills somehow or another, partly due to this big raise, and that we haven't been laid off. We're getting paid to do the work we like to do, and be grateful for what you have. There was also a little talk of the grandkids were over and they were overly rambunctious, and to me, you should be grateful. If you're a grandparent, you should be grateful for that, because this person, it wasn't that long ago, I remember them talking about how there was an estrangement in the family and they weren't sure that they're going to be able to see these grandkids anymore, that there was a big rift, and that the grandkids might not ever see them again. And here they are, a year later, babysitting and enjoying the grandkids, and to me, there should be a gratitude for that, right? That this rift in the family has repaired enough that you can take care of the grandkids and enjoy them. So, and one more thing, right? This person had suffered a very significant health issue, the kind of health issue that sometimes kills people, right? That kills them us humans at a regular basis, and they receive treatment and are doing fairly fine, right? So if you're on this side of the earth, right, you're not buried yet, you should be grateful for that. If the grandkids are overly rambunctious, but you get to stay a part of their lives, you should be grateful for that. And that we have a job, and whether you got a raise or not, you still have an income, and you figure out a way to pay your bills over time, right? It's a mistake to think that just because you make a little bit more money this month versus last month, that you're going to get rich over that. Getting a little bit more money is just a way to kind of keep even. You got to be grateful that you have what you have, and I think I guess, knowing this person and knowing that they sometimes struggle with this gratitude and sometimes fall into frustration and despair, and I don't want that for this person. I don't want this for for any of you listening, look for reasons to be grateful. And the more you can look for reasons to be grateful, the more good things will happen to you. And like I mentioned right at the beginning, the easiest way to do that is to kind of keep track of your life in enough detail that you remember how far you've come, that you've overcome all of your life's difficulties up to this point. And if you experience extreme difficulties, that is your cue to change, right? Like this person with these big bills for the house and the vehicle. Well, if you're keeping track of all that, you may find, well, maybe this house is too expensive for us at this time. Maybe we need to scale way back to something less expensive, or rent. Maybe this vehicle, maybe there's too many repairs happening consistently and we got to make an adjustment, right? But I don't know the details of that person's life. That is up to you to keep track of your details. Yeah, if you're spending tons of money every month repairing it, at some point it will make more sense to get something newer and less prone to repairs. But that's where you have to do your tracking. And the same with your house. If it's just too much, if it's causing you too much stress, then you know that something has to change, right? You have to keep track of your own life. Forget about watching so much TV and spend that time tracking what's going on in your own life. It's much more entertaining, and it's much more helpful for you to help you to find reasons to be grateful. All for now.